switch to sports mode. Hold it in the road. When you get so mad you can explode. Hold it in the road. Bro, just stay focused on your goal. Don't let them crack the mold. The finish line straight ahead, bro. Hold it in the road. When life switch to sports mode. Hold it in the road. When you get so mad you can explode. Hold it in the road. Bro, just stay focused on your goal. Don't let them crack the mold. The finish line straight ahead, bro. Hold it in the road.
Welcome back, everybody, man. This is Holding the Road. I am Big Bad Harold. My main man, Fox, is not with us today, out there doing a mission. You know, I'm glad to hear everybody back, everybody doing fine, but we're here for some serious business today. Today, everybody already know about the Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony case. A real tragic incident with some teens, some young men just being young. And one happened to make a very horrible mistake, immature mistake, and now we have the loss of a life of a teen. Really just want to send prayers out to that family, man, and just start it off that way in a good way. A lot of us as adults right now, it's sad when some tragedy happens, man, regardless of, everything that's going on. We got to realize that these are kids, and it's sad that we're pushing this agenda, and this is on both sides and all sides of the race spectrum, black and white. It's just the fact that they're kids. Let's throw that race out of that, man. They're kids. So you got Karmelo Anthony having stabbed Austin Metcalf, two-star athletes. I think they both played track and football. Both athletes, both grade A students. From the little research that everyone has kind of put out there and looking at. Both had great personalities. I know it's an asterisk beside that when it comes to Austin, but we're going to leave that where it's at for right now. So two great athletes, great men in there, both of their respective communities, both out there furthering their education. Great student athletes, man. People really ain't got nothing but good words to say about both of them. Had an incident at a track meet. One guy and Anthony in the wrong area doing a rain. It's raining out there at the event. Austin Metcalf asked him to leave. They had a confrontation. You have Karmelo reaching into his bag and stabbing him and killing him. Horrible incident. The fact of how he left and everything like that. Scared kid, or however you want to put it. It just made it look worse than what it was. It's other information that will continue to come out, but what I want to bring us to today is it's a team's mistake. It's two teams, both, young, dominant males in their physical sports. One just didn't want to listen to the other. One just wanted to kind of do what he wanted to do, or it could have been harmlessly, hey, I'm just trying to get out the rain. Once the rain is gone, I'll be gone. We don't know. It's just two teams in a situation that they both made bad mistakes, one way worse than the other. It's really immaturity. And I wish that's what we as the adults out here would understand and look at it and keep it in that fold. It's a bunch of times where if you want to race betas out there, it's other stuff you can do that when cops do some or other people do some foolishness, the Karens and all that. But this right here is just two teens, two young men. One didn't want to listen to the other. One had a weapon. One didn't. And now we have the loss of a life. Potentially the loss of two lives, but definitely two families are damaged by the situation. And I wish we would just be more mature about this situation, man. It's tragic, man. We have a passing, and there's so much hate that's been pushed out here after this passing of a teen. The family has enough to deal with, and we're not breaking it down to the simple science of, hey, look, teens make mistakes. We all did. We all messed up growing up in different ways. A lot of us just didn't happen to do what Karmelo Anthony did, which is make the horrible decision to stab someone for over a simple confrontation. Something that most of us believe, hey, if it was hand to hand, hey, y'all push, shove, do what guys do, slap each other around in the right authority with a cane, which is my main point. The conflict resolution point of, I've seen a couple people talking about it, which we all kind of agree in that sense. Why didn't our teams decide to, hey, look, let me just go get somebody. You don't want to listen. You're in the wrong area. You're not want to listen to me. Let me go get somebody. But As we said, they're teens. Testosterone. I'm bigger than badder than you. So they had the 7 match, and the situation is what it is. But conflict resolution is what we need to be looking at and speaking about more, because we all have kids. I have 2 young girls. And we don't want this to be pictured as this is the right thing to do. We understand fighting to defend yourself is a thing we all have. That's your God-given right if you choose to, because we live by choices. If you choose to defend yourself, defend yourself. He chose to defend himself in a matter, in my opinion, where he shouldn't have had a weapon. It wasn't a weapon pulled on you. It was no need for him to pull a weapon. But that's just my opinion. That's nor here nor there. But the main thing is we have teens and we have other youth under these guys that need to understand what happened with this situation was not the correct way to handle it. The correct way was, if you had a disagreement, you don't have to get physical. I can go get a coach. I can get law enforcement, anybody that's around here, his coach, whomever. Hey, man, this guy won't leave. Can we get this guy out of here? Because we don't want our middle school kids, because those are high schools, almost adults. We don't want our middle school kids or elementary kids. It's enough that's on TV and video games. We don't want us as adults, as parents, with this case, with this tragedy, saying that what Karmelo did was right as far as using the knife. We don't need to spread further hateful energy into this situation, saying and not pointing out to our kids and pointing out when they look on YouTube, when they hear it in the news, that it's all about he had a right to defend himself. He had a right to defend himself. We have all, if you're from any age, really, I really want to pinpoint it to 30 and up. We had to deal with bullies in whatever way. And I'm not saying that Austin Metcalf was a bully. What I'm saying is, if somebody choose to make you have a bad day in school, we do not want our kids to think grabbing a weapon and trying to do fatal harm to somebody is the right thing to do. We want them to understand, hey, I go report this to somebody. Now, after I reported it to the right person, if you choose to continue to try to harm me, now it's within my physical ability to try to get you off me in whatever way I choose to, physically without a weapon or anything, and go report it to the authorities. So do you have a fist fight or whatever, that's fine, go report it to the authorities. But we do not want the chaos of having our youth thinking that this is the right thing to do. Man, if somebody bothered me, man, that bully that been bothering me, man, that guy that talked about my shoes and clowned me about my shoes or my shirt, or the girl, hey, she clowned me about my hairstyle, my weave, my makeup ain't as good as hers, man, I'm going to get some and I'm going to take them out. No, we do not want that. We need to spread the right message to our kids, man, and conflict resolution is the best message to spread. And I really wish more people would focus on that point, because that was step one, that none of this would be going on. None of us would be talking about it. A young man would not have passed. 2 families would not be broken. If conflict resolution on 2 ends. Before I move to my next point, Austin Metcalf supposedly is getting the stigma of being a bully. Okay. If the students know it, I'm sure some teachers, which are adults, know it. So why hasn't Austin Metcalf been talked to prior to this situation to de-escalate it or to keep an eye on him? Because he is an athlete. He does get out here and physically move other men. So he ain't no punk. So you telling me in all this time, now all of a sudden we want to point out that he's a bully. So I really want us as adults, again, this is our failure for not teaching and pointing out things that we should to help our kids. But I want to leave that there. Like I said, I don't really want to hone in on that bully, because this guy's an athlete. They both was athletes. They both was big. It was an equal ground for me as far as the physical competition. But that's my opinion. So, moving on. If me as Karmelo's dad, if I'm Karmelo's dad, and this being 100% honest, this is me putting my feet completely in his shoes. I get the call of what my son did, taking another man's life or taking a life in general. After I hear all the facts, if I got to speak to my son, I speak to my son and he tell me what happened. I'm going to tell him straight up, son, you was wrong. If you got to get your behind whooped because you don't know how to fight, and it's my fault for not knowing you don't know how to protect yourself, it's my fault for you not knowing conflict resolution and getting your behind over there and telling the coach, telling the principal. And if you got to get down, you got to get down. If you got to put your hands on somebody, go ahead. Y'all put your hands on somebody. The best man wins. And that's as a man saying that. I know women don't understand that. They ain't got to. As a man, you understand that. You win some, you lose some. Get out there, get your behind tore up. Hey, you gonna learn better, daddy. Hey, I might need me a little boxing, daddy. I might need to gain a little more weight, daddy. If you got you some partners that know how to fight or do whatever, maybe they can help defend you or toughen you up. But as his dad, that's my first step. Seeing the situation, seeing where he was wrong, and I know some of my wrong. So I have to take responsibility for that part. Now, for the court system and for the public opinion that's going on about it, me as being his dad, first thing I got to do is, I know they got the GoFundMe and everything going on. They done raised $500,000 because of lawyer fees, because he going to court. He has to do that to defend himself. I'm immediately trying my best, if they're open to it, talking to the Metcalf family. The reason I want to talk to the Metcalf family, because I need to talk to that father. That father has lost his son. I need to talk to that brother because that brother has lost his brother. You know, I need to look them eye to eye and say, look, I did not raise my son to be no coward. Because that's how I feel the knife in a situation that didn't need it was a coward move. But that's no hit on that. But me as his father, I'm going to be straight up and blunt about the situation because I don't care if it was white or black. It's the point that my son did something to take somebody's life, and I know I raised him better than I should have. So I have to take accountability for that. I have to be a man and go over there and let that dad cuss me out if he want to cuss me out and get it all off his chest. Because I don't know the emotions he's going through. And men, we don't really show our emotions, but I have no idea what emotions he's going through. I need to go face that for my family's sake, because I'm the head of the household. So after doing that, I without a doubt, that GoFundMe that they did, okay, I can still use it for the defense of my son. But the other thing I'm finna do is, hey, Metcalf family, here's 15 grand, 20 grand, pay for the service. Pay for the services, burn it, throw it in the trash, say whatever, or do whatever you got to do with the money. But this is what I'm giving you as a gesture for what my son did, for what my family did to your family. That's what I'm doing. That's just me. That's me personally as a man if I was in this situation. That's what I would do. I'm going to give them the money to pay for that service because it's my fault of my family putting them in this situation. With my trainer, that boy came from my household. He was mine. And I have disrupted your household and all this stuff that's going on in this community. That's my fault. So I'm going to put it out there. That's what I would do. And from day one, I would have got, after I hear all this crap that's going on with the race baiting and all this different stuff, me, myself, I would have made a public statement. I guess I'll get to that interview in a second that they had, the Karmelo family. I don't want anybody out here, if you can, leave this alone. Let me and my family deal with this situation. Don't be out here spreading the hate that Austin Metcalf, that this boy was racist, that his daddy is racist. Even if there was, it had nothing to do with this situation. Nothing. This is a confrontation between my son and his son, and my son made a mistake. And I am sorry to the world that my son made this mistake, and it has brought sorrow to both our families. So I would like everybody to stay out of this issue and let us deal with it. Because now I have to go fight for my son's life to not be taken away because he made a mistake. I have to go plead with the judge, whatever judge it is, to not take my son's complete life away from him. It was an honest mistake. Honest mistake. He should not have been thinking that way. He should not have even had that weapon on campus. But it's my fault. I should have paid more attention to my boy. I don't know what happened, but it is what it is at this point. The facts are the facts. And I do not want this judge to take my son's life. With the energy that my black community is putting out, and anybody else that's participating on this race baiting, in this just aggressive, nasty energy, you could get my son thrown away. Completely thrown away when he don't have to be. Do he have to face the consequences for what he did? Yes. Accountability? Yes, he do. In some way he do. Mentally, physically, spiritually, everything. But I do not want you guys to help throw my son away in the court of opinion. You're not helping the situation with this bad energy. So as the father, please shut the hell up. So that if I was Karmelo's dad, that would be my plea. That would be my statement to the world, to the judge, to anybody before it even really get to court. It's just a bad situation, man. I hate it for him, man. Again, prayers go out. Things like this happen every day, and I'm not for to get deep into it, and especially in my community, especially in the black community. It happens a lot. But if I was his father, that's what I do. I would be pleading for my son. I would be talking to my son directly, getting him to understand what he did and what I didn't do as his father. And if the Metcalf family would let me talk and see them and say my sorries, give my condolences, I would do that. Without a doubt, I would do that. But that's just me as a man. Me, personally, me as a man. So, now let's get into the bigger picture, and I'm going to let everybody go. I'm going to close it out. The bigger picture for me is what I just mentioned as far as the hate. Are we so oblivious as adults that we don't see the fact that all this hate we put on YouTube, in the news feeds, do you not know that most kids are in middle school has access to a phone, have access to YouTube? I know good and well you're talking about it in the house. And most households nowadays don't do like they used to do when I grew up. Hey, man, don't be looking in my mouth, man. You ain't grown for business. Go to the other room. Or me, myself, removing myself from that room. Y'all staying here. I'm on the phone. I don't think we do that no more. So we're saying all these hateful things about a family none of us know. We only getting it through the TV, through the YouTube, from what he say, she say. We don't know the Austin Metcalf family. We don't know them. We don't know the Karmelo family like that. So why are we saying this was such a race hateful thing that he targeted him? He's such a bully. He targeted him. All this nasty hate we pushing out for our youth. The other kids, elementary, middle school, they get to hear this crap. Teachers talk about it. They looking up on their phone. You know how many families got white, black cousins, sisters? Mixed. The world is mixed. In the world that ain't mixed, like Austin Metcalf and Karmelo, they sports players. White, black, Polynesian, Asian, brown. Everything is on that football team, that track team, that basketball, baseball, hockey team, whatever they own. It's mixed race. How do you think their friends feel with all this race baiting and this nasty energy just get pushed out? How do you think they feel? How do you think them teammates looking at each other, or those friends and associates of the Metcalf family and the Karmelo family? You putting people against each other when this ain't that situation. This is not that situation. That is why I say the failure of us as adults, as parents, we are failing our youth daily. All of us. We're wrong. We're wrong. Leave these kids out of grown folk business. If that's your opinion, you want to say it, and it's that nasty, keep it away from the kids. Don't allow the kids to see it. Don't allow the kids to hear it. Because you don't know. If it was a fact, then you can factually say that, but you still got to keep kids out of grown folk business. That's the biggest thing that we don't do no more. That's why these kids growing up too fast. But again, I'm not finna swerve left and right with this conversation. I'm gonna hold it in the road like the name. We have to do better about shielding our kids from their mishaps. That's our job, especially us as men, is to protect. We protect the family from themselves, man. And right now, we need to protect our youth from this situation and this BS with this negative energy around this situation. Tragic. It's too tragic. I ain't gonna speak deeply on it. Also, condolences for everybody up there at Florida State. We just had that same type of negative energy situation. And there's no need to call it. I'm glad nobody that from I know is calling out any type of racial, tension thing or anything like that. But our youth, that was a 20-year-old boy, young man, felt the need to go do that. And most of them are young that those type of shootings. But again, back on track. The Metcalf situation, the negative energy that we are putting out, younger kids are hearing it, seeing it, and they feel some type of way about it. The immediate family of both of those families, friends, associates, feel some type of way about it. The teacher feels some type of way about it with all this race baiting. The race baiting got so bad, people done threaten the judge like fools because that's a felony, but threaten the judge because the judge dropped the bail. They allowed the boy to leave because of his character, which she has every right to do. Many judges done it. It is what it is. But the point of we are talking about a kid, and other kids need to understand this is a bad and sensitive situation. Most of you kids are too young to understand it. Just like the boys that was involved with this situation was too young to understand it until it was too late. And now he has to deal with the consequences. And then it is what it is at that point. But I do not want us to continue to put out this negative energy around this situation. This is not right. It's not right. It's not right for the spirit, man. And nothing positive will come out of it if we don't pour positivity into it. Allow that family to mourn their loss. Allow that family to get their thoughts together. They still have to go to court. They still have to relive what happened, especially his brother who was there. Metcalf's brother was there when his brother passed. He has to relive that. Let these people deal with this, man. I understand what world we in. We all get to put our opinions out. I'm doing it right now. I'm putting my goddamn opinion out right now. And again, I'm trying not to be as negative as others I have heard because I don't even feel that way about the situation. Honestly, I just don't. I have made plenty of mistakes as a kid. Anybody who hear me and not hear me made mistakes as a kid. We was fortunate and blessed to not get locked up and not kill nobody, man. It's just, it is what it is. So prayers out about this situation, man. Just hopefully, man, everything will simmer down. Let the courts do what they need to do. Let him be judged by his peers. Let the facts be the facts. And whatever it is, whatever the ruling is, we need to all peacefully understand it and find whatever silver lining of positivity we can to save any other youth from going down this same road. You can't learn nothing if you don't slow your behind down, check your emotions, look in the mirror, and move forward, man. That's what we have to do. We have to do that. None of that negativity, wanting to be mad and march and do any other foolish crap ain't gonna change what that judge said, man. But you need to be ready to change, if not doing it now, change the youth behind that boy life, man. But that's what it is, man. Till next time, man. Y'all know what it is. Y'all live right. You play fair. Holla at us.
When life switch to sports mode, hold it in the road. When you get so mad you can explode, hold it in the road. Bro, just stay focused on your goal. Don't let them crack the mold. The finish line straight ahead, bro. Hold it in the road. Bullets with a badge, or never get a pass. We can see straight through your mask. You made a glass, homie. Just think before you do the dash, cause it might be your last. Lay you in that grass, face down. You should've put your hands up. I promise you the red got them handcuffs. Look, we need to change our recreation. Let's focus on some education. How about let's fight for our reparations? How about let's teach our next generation? Big Bad Harold, Mr. Gray Fox. Let's give them motivation. When life switch to sports mode, hold it in the road. When you get so mad you can explode, hold it in the road. Bro, just stay focused on your goal. Don't let them crack the mold. The finish line straight ahead, bro. Hold it in the road. When life switch to sports mode, hold it in the road. When you get so mad you can explode, hold it in the road. Bro, just stay focused on your goal. Don't let them crack the mold. The finish line straight ahead, bro. Hold it